Hello and welcome to another Wednesday live stream. Happy November 1st to you guys. Woo! The year sure has flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, more than a little.
More than a little. So, thank you to everyone who has shown up and joined us here for tonight. Also with me, I've got my co-host, the Painter Flo.
Yellow.
And disembodied voice off in the distance.
Hello there.
And
Hello.
Tonight's topic is, I don't know if it's controversial. I don't know. I'm sure you've noticed that in order to live life, you have to pay a subscription now, whether it's for your internet, app of choice, or for any programs you use at work, like Adobe Acrobat or Premiere in our case, or anything else.
The entire Adobe suite.
Yeah, the entire Adobe suite. 3D programs use it. AI programs have it. Everything has a subscription cost now.
I'm kind of waiting for Windows to just charge one now.
It is. Windows 11 is supposed to be.
Is it?
I think it's a yearly one. I don't know. Whatever the new Windows, it's supposed to be a subscription as well. Yeah,
Lovely.
Everything wants to be on a subscription model. And wargames have started to hop on board that trend as well. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on it, if it works, or what does and doesn't work with it. Prior to starting tonight, I kind of went through all the wargames I could think of to see if there was an app associated with it, and then also if that app was free or not free. And really, I just found out that basically very small handful of apps actually charge you a monthly subscription for it. So we can mostly sort of talk about that and whether or not that seems like that's going to be the trend going forward, or if it doesn't really apply so much to the wargaming space. Because let's just remember, as Gav Thorpe said, just because GW does it doesn't mean anyone else should do it, and whether or not that really applies here. So yes, that's my blurb that I've got for this morning.
And by this morning, I mean this evening.
Right then. So let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Thanks to everyone who's shown up here. Paul, thank you as always. Hale and I had this delightful run on Phasmophobia the other day. We're gonna have to grab Flo and take her along on it. The Halloween event for Phasmophobia was really, really, really entertaining. They made it very accessible for everybody, so you could be a level 1 and go into all of the levels. You could set the difficulty to be as easy as you want, but basically you just go into the different levels and you look for jack-o'-lanterns, and you need to grab, I guess, a recipe card out of there, but it's a card with a single ingredient, and they're gross ingredients like, a toe of a frog or eyeballs or a brain. And there's like 9 ingredients you have to collect. And then you go to a different special campground area, and you go around the campground looking for those specific ingredients to throw into a bubbling cauldron. And there you go, and then the event happens, and it's super, super fun. So we got to do that this weekend, right before Halloween, which was delightful. And I hope everyone had a great Halloween, by the way. Whew. And yes, Paul and everyone in the UK is enjoying only a 6-hour time difference instead of a 7-hour time difference up until this Sunday when our clocks fall back. Revak, welcome to the chat. Yeah, he pointed out this is the 1 week period where the UK clocks change 1 week before the US ones do. Makes it much nicer for a phone conference, even if it's just for a short period. It'll be interesting because at some point in the future, because the whole daylight savings time, a lot of people thought it was going to become permanent. And since we've got the 3 elements of government, that bill passed 1. It was like the Senate. So it still hasn't gone to any of the other houses. No one's even bothered to look at it as far as like keeping daylight savings permanent. So, yep, we're just doing this for the foreseeable future. Hi, Thomas Grable. Welcome, welcome. I know you're getting ready for Warfare Weekend. Yes. Paul, the fireworks already going off in your area? Oh, right, because Guy Fawkes Day is coming up as well. Jeremy at work, but I'll try to listen in. Appreciate it. Those don't look like horsies. No, they're not horsies. I do not have the Signar horsey model. I just thought they were... I just like horses. There was the truth. The Breyer, the Breyer like brand of miniatures or something. I probably have a subscription to that too. I'm sure there's a whole 3D printing company just dedicated to printing horses.
Is it like the Briar Queen or something like that?
Breyer, B-R-A-I-R, or I-A-R. But Breyer, B-R-E-Y-E-R, like Breyer horses. If you were that girl growing up, you knew what Breyer horses were. So, different thing. So no horses this time. Just clunky, chunky warjacks. Every year seems to go by faster. I know. Let's see.
Sorry, our cleaning crew that was supposed to be out of here like 40 minutes ago is still here making noise, so you guys might hear that in the background.
Andrew, and good evening. Paul Curl, welcome. Did you all do first word puzzle from GW? I got Billy Big Bug. I did not.
Don't even know what that is.
Jeremy, GW does it as Mantic and Battlefront for Flames of War and Team Yankee. I can't think of anyone else that has a pay-for army builder currently.
Wait, does Mantic have a pay-for app?
I guess so. Maybe I didn't get that one on my list.
Because we were looking at it, we saw, so GW has like a few of them, right? Depending on like 40K or Age of Sigmar or whatever.
Right.
But then War Machine has theirs. Theirs is a pay-for. And I didn't know Mantic did. We were kind of looking at a bunch of them.
Chuckaroo Bob, hello. Thomas Grable, those Cato Warjacks are looking nice. Painting all the heads and arms for them.
I'm still working on another body first.
I've got 4. I've got 2 Great Bears and 2 Dire Wolves. And then basically the entire rest of the Winter Corps box. And Ekaterina, the other Warcaster. Boris looks really good. I should really pull him out of his case at some point and get him back on here.
He's on my Instagram.
Where is he? Okay. Yeah.
He is, yes.
Thomas, I painted up Grimkin piggybacks. Posted the
Yes.
pics on your Facebook. Yay.
Yeah, those are, I did those a while ago when that box came out.
Mm-hmm.
I did those. I think that was my first big commission, was doing that box.
Yeah, the entire Grimkin starter set was a steal, frankly, for what you got in there. And then just getting all of those painted up the way they were. Oh, they were so pretty. I love that army. It's still, yeah, I love that army. Plunderden, I can only stay for a little bit. I'm on the road in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Super excited that I'm going to get to tour the world's largest game store, Sentry Box. That's awesome, Plunderden. Maybe we'll run into Dan
I
out
was just
there.
about to say, Dan's out in
That's
Calgary.
Dan's stomping grounds. I know he goes in and still plays tournaments because I think he's been getting into Infinity. But then randomly he'll just send me texts of him like on a mountain somewhere. Like, hi,
Yeah, that sounds like Dan.
I miss you, you butt.
Yeah, he was saying how sad he was they didn't make it to Valhalla this last year.
I know.
We're all like, well, just make sure you come next year.
Cador Jacks. Yes, Veil of Darkness. They are lovely. And the assembly on them was, well, pretty dang easy. Even with the magnetization, you sort of get a little technique down. I realize I'm a relatively decent model builder. Have experience, from being a teenager and putting together my first Gundam model. So, yes. Anyway. I haven't checked the Mantic app for that, but I will because I'm curious what it is they actually charge for that. It seems like there's a specific price range. So the War Machine app is $4.99 a month. The Warhammer app is $5.99 a month unless you do the yearly subscription, then it cuts it down to $4.99 a month. So that $5 range seems to be about right. Flames of War Mantic. Go, phone, tell me. Man, I can't see anything in here. I don't have a good... I don't know. The other hard part is looking these up in here is that it always wants to pull up a lot of the phone games. Because it's like, oh, you want to play some little Battlefield game or whatever. And like, I don't. I was looking for this thing, so I guess I'd have to find that. Revok, speaking of subscriptions and paywalls, your movie on Amazon Prime no longer has a paywall in the UK. So I watched it and it's good. Your character has a potty mouth in it. I know.
Most characters have potty mouths in there.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone in there swears a lot. And yeah, some of the dialogue got changed in there. So it could have been crazier.
So for anyone who didn't see it, it's Craving. Go see it on Amazon Prime for free.
And then you can rate it. And just say how cool the character Riley is.
Right. Say, I don't know about the rest of this movie. That Riley character really stands out.
Yeah. I'll send you your check like after. But yeah, it's also free to watch on Tubi. So if you don't want to pay for it for any other person who doesn't have access to that for free on Amazon, you can definitely see it for free on Tubi. Mantic is to save your armies and such. You can use the free version and print your list. And it's not a normal app, it's web-based. Drongo, it's Miranda. Hello. hello. Yeah, so the list of ones I got, like I said, there's the War Machine app. Now, in fairness, the War Machine app has a pay-for version, but also a very robust free version. The pay-for version is to allow you to save lists across devices and get access to the lore, largely, but things aren't blocked from you. Warhammer app, of course, that has a free version as well, which does give you access to a lot of information. Excuse me.
Bless you.
But always twice. Anyway, gives you access to the information, but you can only save one list, and it's just a lot more robust when you pay for it. And then of course there's all of the rest of Warhammer, plus there's the access to the movies and the animated stuff and more lore and all of that, and that is pretty cool. Malifaux has an app, the Bad Things Happen app, which I've had downloaded for a long time. It seems to be totally free. Battletech has or had an app. I don't know, my phone wasn't compatible with it, but Battletech people did have access to that. Marvel Crisis Protocol seems to have an app, but I don't actually know if it's official. It was just like a website search I did, and it has a whole website called Excelsior. A Song of Ice and Fire has an app, and I know Dan has used it before for list building when he and I had played Song of Ice and Fire in the past, and that one is actually pretty nice. Bolt Action, their Warlord Games List Builder is another free one. Infinity Army Builder, also free. Infinity is always an interesting one because Infinity really makes you build all of your armies online because they track that and they use that for game balance. And then of course you've got something like Battlescribe that can have all the games loaded onto it. And you do have Warhammer, War Machine, Age of Sigmar, Malifaux. I think Malifaux. I know you have Song of Ice and Fire on there. There's just a bajillion armies that you can get through Battlescribe. But that is community upkept. So there's that. Excuse me, I'm all hiccuping. Thank you, Ian. Mr. Tamaya89, thank you also. just dropping by to say hello to everyone else before I go to sleep. Well, thank you, Mr. Tamaya, for popping by. I certainly appreciate that.
Hello, good night.
Yeah. Paul Curel, want to go to Beastly Books and Miniature Market. Oh yeah, Miniature Market. We've ordered from them for a long time. Paul, my only hobby subscriptions currently are 3D models to print via Patreons, and they add up to about £32 a month, but do get a ton of stuff, probably 4 gigabytes of minis. Whee. No, you get a lot of stuff. Yeah. He sends me screenshots of whatever new iteration of a Predator they're making, or Guyver. They have a whole Guyver series. There's actually really cool too.
A MacGyver series?
No, Guyver, the movie Guyver with David Hayter. He's so pretty.
DJ is the one who does all of the apps for printing things, or like the subscriptions for printing things. So I'm not sure what exactly we're subscribed to anymore.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess we've subscribed to various things that are not miniature based, but I did end up getting in on the Warhammer app, and I got the yearly so that it was cheaper, just because I feel like there's going to be plenty of content on there for me, and $5 a month does not feel that crazy for what you get. And man, I don't know, that Warhammer app runs fast. Like anytime as soon as you click or tap, I guess, on a model or rule, it's just there. Like, you are not dealing with loading screens, and that is really refreshing. It was the first thing I noticed when popping around in the app. I'm like, it's really this fast? Like, I don't believe it. And it is freaking fast.
I can't believe my eyes.
It's amazing. I was like, this is actually an option. Why isn't everyone else just doing that? But whatever. Yeah. I'm going to save up all year for Valhalla next year. Oh, good. Definitely should.
Come
it's
hang
super
out with
worth
us.
it. Super worth it. Cheers, 505, dude. Dang, everyone, what did I miss? On the Battle of Westeros, Ice and Fire tomorrow. Oh, okay. Let's see. I had bought the Orgoth starter box. Congratulations, Jeremy. How many models are in that? Is it as substantial as something like the Winter Core or the Sigmar box, whichever that one was? Let's see. I played against Orgoth. They are legit. I'm sure they are. Let's see. And everything else. Hint to get their ogre miniatures after that. Oh, I see. For Battle of Westeros. Paul, you won't believe how much more you can get done without Facebook or Twitter. Fair point.
Yes, I can.
Jeremy, I'm going to unsubscribe from all my STLs. I have like 10 terabytes of miniatures. Is that adept is ridiculous?
That's crazy.
Well, so there's that, right? Like, it's easy to end up amassing huge digital files that you don't know. You don't know how much stuff you have.
They take up less room in your closet than boxes of gray plastic.
Excuse me, they do. But I almost wonder if with all the STLs, it's like having a Steam library where you're like, here's my Humble Bundle. And here, I didn't even know I owned this game.
You don't know what you have at that point.
Yep. And so out of sight, out of mind a little bit, because it seems like a lot of the STL stuff are in bundles. So as long as there's just one thing in there you like, it's probably worth the $2 to $10 they're asking for, and then you end up with a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know when that's going to really hit saturation, because it seems to be just rocking and rolling. What is it? Popsicles, I think, is one that Paul subscribes to. My Loot Factory? My Loot...
Just loot.
Loot... I don't know. There's so many.
I can't even remember anymore. Like,
yeah,
I don't deal with any of those for the most part. That's a DJ thing. He works on all of the 3D printing. I've got too much painting to worry about the actual printing part.
Fair enough. Loot Studios, thank you, Jeremy. Drongo, I've always watched your channel, by the way, since day one. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
You're one of the only channels that makes this game interesting. Are you talking about War Machine specifically? Thank you so much. Any Mark IV bat reps coming soon?
We would need to find other people who play it.
Probably not soon.
I actually got a message from someone else the other day too, asking if, when I was going to be doing Mark IV battle reports, and I was like, yeah, probably not anytime soon. Sounds nice, but like, we are very slow moving as far as like getting infrastructure and everything like built up, and there is a really healthy Warhammer community here in town, which is, I've mentioned before, like, metas are what make or break a game. You can have the best game in the world, and if no one plays it, you're probably not going to play it. And so, probably just going to do Warhammer for a while. War Machine stuff's obviously getting painted. It's not forgotten. It's just, it's going to need more stuff built up to be able to even play with somebody.
Need a community here locally to make that work.
Yeah. So, for right now, it's not anytime soon. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, if someone wants to take a trip out here with their army and get in a game, then maybe.
Get in like 5 games, be like, okay, I know the rules enough. Let's go.
Yeah, you've only played a few times now, right? And that's just at conventions.
Yeah. Playing here is just.
In fact, at Valhalla, only Mark III was played. Like, people didn't even want to play Mark IV at Valhalla. So people were just using the old war room and playing that.
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of point that game's at, because I don't think at any other point in its history has there been that kind of divide, right? Where there's actually two. I've seen it in role-playing games a lot over the years.
Yeah.
But I don't typically see it in war games. But currently there really is one. I guess Age of Sigmar versus like the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Like
that would be probably the comparable change.
But yeah, there's a lot of people who are like, no, Mark III is fine. The rules were good. There was no reason to change them. And then they're like, yeah, instead of buying all new models, there are just probably
so
literal tons of Mark III and prior miniatures just out there that are just going for dirt cheap. You can pick up entire old armies for almost nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, do that or buy the newer stuff that I don't even know how available it is, or like all the factions don't quite have it and all that stuff. And so a lot of people really are opting on, I'll just do Mark III. And it's interesting because I think there's even entire communities that have just decided on that. So I haven't really seen that a lot in war games.
Yeah, it's been it's been interesting. Like you said, there's still old world people who play that, but yeah.
Which is interesting because I think even GW is going to recognize that and start doing old world stuff.
John Wall Miranda, how is Dan from the Mini Wargaming crew? He's good. He's living his life. He's outdoors all the time. I don't know how man can.
In his flip flops.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, hiking a mountain in your flip flops seems like just ridiculous, but there he is up there doing that.
I've seen him do it
In
firsthand.
the mountains of Canada, no less, flip flopping around.
He was on the desert mountains of
We
Albuquerque.
took him on a hike up here when he visited.
Like a little 10-mile hike up our Sandia Peak, and
I need to make him come visit me again. Yeah, I miss you, Dan. But yeah, he's good. He's last I heard, he was really into Infinity, but he's just
this
really
is a place to come play it.
That's true. But he was always just kind of naturally really good at a lot of war games, so he can just sort of fall in and out of them as he likes. There's a talent I do not have. Checker Rhubarb just finished painting 40 Chinese Dare to Die fanatics, 5 Mexican federales, and a dinosaur. What dinosaur?
Whatever that game is, sounds fun.
That sounds. Is that all part of the same game, Checker Rhubarb? That's wild. Paul, I like my 3D stuff as I always get something each month. My gaming is too erratic to pay for to use the game app. I can get a game maybe once a month, but then a gap of 8 months could happen. Yeah. Oh gosh, that happens so easily too. Yeah, I get it. It's my catalog of stuff. Let's see. But it's my catalog of my stuff, start to present, like Taylor Swift's Eras discography. I think Taylor Swift her Eras tour outperformed a number of movies in the box office this past weekend.
I think it was number 3. It was
Might
like
have been number 2.
2 or 3. It was, I'm trying to remember which one
It was like
but-
Five Nights at Freddy's. Taste way. Okay. All right.
Yeah, followed. But I think possibly number 3 was Flowers of the Killer Moon, Killers of the Flower Moon, whatever it is.
Something like that.
But the 3 and a
3.5 hour movie.
whatever,
Yeah.
like Scorsese movie about how Leonardo DiCaprio's Batman, and
It's probably a fine movie, but I
Eh.
know it's not 3.5 hours a fine movie. Like Scorsese, it's a little, what is it, indulgent?
like I say, I have the hot take that I think Scorsese is wildly overrated, but yeah.
Well, what do you know?
But it's like it made only 9 million or something.
Oh,
It's
really?
like I want to say
Because that was not, that's a lot more than that to make.
whenever he was going over, and I thought it was a $200 million movie, and so yeah, it's gonna be a
Holy
huge flop.
cow. That is, wow. Okay then. Drago, I mean, it's a new format, and I'm being forced to relearn Grimkin again. My steamroller Saturday, I got destroyed all day. 2 points. I felt so new again. That's Cleveland, Tennessee. That was a healthy enough player base. Okay. Well, that's awesome that you were able to be able to participate in a whole steamroller, and that is a really good way to learn, sort of like a trial by fire, because you're dealing with a timer. It's the rules as you remember them immediately, and from game to game you can sort of tweak your strategy because you can't change your lists, so there's practice in that if you didn't get to practice ahead of time. So that's definitely pretty fun. I think the Grimkin are still perfectly capable. What Warlock are you running? Are you running Old Witch 2 or the Heretic or Dreamer or King of Nothing? I'm trying to remember all of the Warlocks for it. I think I have 3 of them. I never got the Dreamer. I still need to at some point.
Dreamer you still should definitely get.
She's the one I really want to paint.
I need to get her for flood's sake. But no, that's really awesome that you get to do an actual steamroller. So one of these days we might have one of those here
I
again.
think Plunder Den is just popping out.
Oh, bye, Plunderden. Thank you so much for popping by. It's always appreciated, and we welcome seeing you. Jeremy, I won't be playing Mark IV. I'm using Orgoth for Dragon Rampant. Another game? Gosh, how do we even keep up with all of these? Let's see. Everyone, so word GW is going to FIFA World Cup Championship. Okay. GW did change their website now. It's just warhammer.com as a centralized place to go get everything. Unless you need paints, and then it sends you to the Citadel Color website. Or unless you need a Black Library book, and then it sends you to the blacklibrary.com page. But either way, it's so centralized now. It's like a link hub, you know? Like, what is it, a link tree, I think is what a lot of influencers use.
Yeah, I think Linktree is what it's called.
Hey gang, War Budgies!
Hello.
We've missed you. How's the frozen wastes treating you? Michael Gray, log in. I'm presented with 2 Kador jacks. All is well with the world. Yeah, they're getting there. And they're getting painted. We even upgraded our red paint. What is the paint we're using?
Mephiston Red.
Actual Citadel paint. So you don't have to put it on 3 times. So I feel like we could finally upgrade after 10 years.
Yeah, it may take 3 times, but the entire bottle of it's like $1.
But what's your time worth? Anyway.
We just need a fat enough brush, like your how to paint video.
I love that video so much.
I do too. It definitely is like where I feel like my sense of humor does not jive with maybe a lot of my audience, because they're just like, what's wrong with you? I'm like,
It's a
what's
joke.
wrong with me?
I think my favorite comment is that they died inside when the paintbrush made contact with the miniature.
I don't know.
That's okay. We have the same sense of humor. It's fine.
Yeah, well, so we've been playing with ChatGPT, and we're looking at maybe making a new intro for the channel. And so we asked ChatGPT to write like an intro
Yes.
that would
Oh, man.
that would be like an advertisement. I know
I swear I want to pull it up and just like let you read it.
you should if you can. I totally will. But yeah, so ChatGPT created this whole like, I think it was like a 1 or 2 minute video, like description on how I would present like my channel, and I want to film it so bad. But I don't know if people would take me seriously, and I'd be so disappointed if they did because it is hilarious. So we'll see if Disembodied Voice can get it up because it's amazing, and I want to share it with you guys because I love you. Paul Curl, want to just have time to play one game. Bleh. Yeah, I mean, there is definitely that. It's part of what keeps GW strong. And it's, a lot of war games. I think Infinity and War Machine have oftentimes fallen into that where that's the only game people play. They don't play other games because it's an expensive hobby, let's be real. But then, just keeping up with the rule set, the changing rules, and all of that keeps your mind going. And I feel like having the apps kind of help to kind of keep you in that headspace too. Because if you want to look up a model, like War Room was always amazing for list theory, right? Of just, well, what if I put this together? What can I do with this? Okay, so this spell with this jack, I could do this kind of cool combo. The Warhammer app is largely the same. You can see what any of the armies look like and what their individual models are. Although they won't tell you the base size, which is a pet peeve of mine for sure. I really wish they would tell you the base size. And I know there's you can just play with whatever base comes with it, but I would still really like to know the base size because, I don't know. It's a thing. Like, it was only in recent iterations of Warhammer 40K at all that like footprints became a proper thing, which I appreciate, and cards became a proper thing, which, slight bitch, the War Machine app still does not have the ability to print cards, which I am quite frustrated with, because you can print your data slates for Warhammer, but you can't do it for War Machine, and the app claims that it's supposed to do that eventually, but you don't even have an option to get those cards anywhere else. So having to play from the app is definitely a negative experience for me. Like, it's one thing if it's an optional thing, it's quite another when it's just the only option you have. And I think that's part of what also keeps people playing Mark III. Missed you guys too. I'm cold, but I have power. And I go to work for a weekend tomorrow. I'll have so much fun. I hope you guys all get to hang out and play. Yeah, play against, what is it, Blightergast? I saw the image of the huge dragon base. I am super curious what that's going to look like for the players. Let's see, Paul, I'm the opposite. I have time to play, but no opponents at the minute. For now. Drongo, I try to build true lists as a non-focused against certain army builds. So like a all-comers list, I think I've also heard it come. I run Heretic, however, because there are like none of the models available these days. That's fair. The Heretic is a really strong model, though. You can get Old Witch too, though. She's so good. Let's see. I could probably get that old red on with one coat airbrushing it. Oh, maybe. Airbrushing is still a thing we haven't actually brought over to our Wargamer Girls studios yet. Maybe at some point. War budgies. Whoosh. Oh, looks like frozen hell over there. Don't worry. Gonna get it too in the West Coast. Yeah, the last couple of days it dropped a lot here, and it was super cold. But I know, like, the whole rest of the country got slammed. Cruel. Drongo, I need 2 more Skin and Moans and 1 Gorehound and 1 more piggyback captain attachment and much more. Have you tried, like, the secondary market? I feel like maybe eBay would have some of that stuff. The other thing is if you have local game stores that do, like, swap meets or flea markets or something, you might be able to find stuff there. And of course, there's so many Facebook communities. You might also be able to find stuff there too. Let's see, don't have players. Have a couple of game rooms around here. Just don't have time. Sad. Time has been a bit of a challenge. Jeremy, I've been using ChatGPT to generate ideas for Deathstalker 5. Oh, you're making Disembodied Voice so happy right now. You can meet half country. Michael, speaking of ChatGPT, I've been using it recently to make a start on army building lists. They always need tweaking. Oh, goodness. All right, so I'm going to read all
All right,
this
I
to
can't
everybody.
monitor audio now, but you can feel free to just read that.
Oh,
That's
right.
That's the opening question.
Okay.
And then your amazing...
All right, so the prompt, because you always have to prompt these things. Sorry, I will get back to the chat in a minute, but we're distracted now, so squirrel moment. Write an introduction video for Miranda to use on her tabletop miniature wargaming YouTube channel. Her channel name is Wargamer Girl, and she mostly covers Warhammer 40,000. That was the prompt. She does cover some War Machine games, but mostly Warhammer 40,000. So we start with upbeat music playing. Remember, it prompts everything. There's some descriptor every single time. So upbeat music playing. Miranda, excitedly, hey there, fellow tabletop warriors. Welcome to Wargamer Girl, your go-to channel for all things epic in the world of tabletop miniature wargaming. I'm Miranda, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this adventure through the vast battlefields of Warhammer 40,000 and beyond. Montage of miniatures and game footage. Shush. Miranda, if you're like me and live for the thrill of strategy, the joy of assembling finely detailed miniatures, and the excitement of commanding armies in epic clashes, then you're in the right place. Here at Wargamer Girl, we dive deep into the immersive realms of tabletop wargaming, with the primary focus on the grim dark of the far future Warhammer 40,000. It gets so much better. Cut to Miranda's painting table. Miranda grinning. I'll be your guide through the galaxy-spanning battles, the lore-rich narratives, and of course, the sheer joy of pushing beautifully painted miniatures across the table. But hey, we're not just limited to the grimdark universe. We also explore some intense War Machine games to keep the variety alive. Quick shots of different game sets. Yeah, those guys. Miranda, enthusiastically. Whether you're a seasoned veteran looking for advanced tactics or a newcomer eager to learn the ropes, Wargamer Girl is a place where everyone can find a seat at the gaming table. From battle reports to painting tutorials to lore discussions and product reviews, we've got it all covered. Scene of Miranda at a gaming event. Doesn't matter which one. Miranda. And let's not forget the incredible community we're building together. I love hearing your thoughts, strategies, and seeing the fantastic paint jobs you share with me.
Is there not a parenthetical for that one?
There is not. There is not.
What?
I know, it's learning. No, I mean, admittedly, that is true because I do love going to these gaming events. So don't be shy, hit that subscribe button, join our community, and let's embark on this tabletop journey together. Miranda, or cuts to Miranda with miniature in hand, and with a wink, I say. So if you're ready to roll those dice, paint some minis, and explore the vast universe of wargaming, then make sure to tune into Wargamer Girl. Prepare for battle, my friends. It's going to be an epic ride. I thought there was more stuff about me painting, because I was like, I love painting. I'm like, this is not... Anyway, there you go.
There was that painting song that you had.
There is the painting song. So we've had a lot of fun with ChatGPT. I am not yet worried about it taking over the world, but I think, not to be so mean about it, but I'm like, well, it's not a very creative writer, so I don't think like real storytellers and artists should be worried, but I can understand why Hollywood is. So there we go. Yeah. Adeptus Ridiculous, just curious, watched your movie. Are you making a sequel? Dun dun dun. I'm in 2 additional movies coming up from the same director. However, they are not sequels. I don't think they are.
Well, sort of. There's down the road stuff that will be a sequel that's been discussed, but that's about it.
But not Craving.
No.
It would be really hard for me to be in a sequel of Craving.
So, yeah, if you, maybe, I don't know. If you go to IMDb or whatever, you can see that the upcoming movies, one is called A Hard Place, and that's the same director, and so Miranda's attached to that one.
Right. And then,
of course, our movie we're working on, which is also listed there.
currently
upcoming
filming.
movies.
Right now. Oh my gosh.
Just
that
5
has
feet
been-
over from us. It's filming.
Yeah,
right now.
it's right over there. I mean, all the wardrobe is over there, to be fair.
Sort of. I mean, it's hanging around you. But yes.
Over there.
It's been a process. Let's just say it's been an incredibly busy year. And part of it's frustrating because it's like so much hurry up and wait. Like everyone needs you to jump at the drop of a hat to be able to schedule something, but people also want you to give them a load of time. I don't know. It's a challenge, but Anyway, digressing. Needless to say, it's been a little bit hard to schedule battle reports. In fact, I have one guy in my meta who, he might even be in here, I don't know, who wants me to join him on a narrative, in a narrative campaign. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna be awful if I do this right now. Like, I have not practiced. Like, don't do that to me.
Although I am finishing up the the Tau terrain that we brought to Valhalla, and when it's finished, we may be filming a battle report with a local Tau player.
Yes.
So we're trying to get something
That'll be
done.
fun. I also want to
It's
play
been
the
very
local the local Imperial Guard player because his army's so pretty. It'll be very confusing, I know, but I just want to fight. Anyway, yes, there are some really beautiful miniatures that people have in the meta here as well. And the community is so nice. I just want to go hang out with them. Anyway, Thomas, I agree about the cards for War Machine, but they're working on it for desktop, for a desktop version of the app. Yeah, so I'm sure I'll feel a lot better once they get to that point.
But until
But
then,
it's been out a year now as an app, and so it does feel a little frustrating at this point. So I will probably relook at it. I bet a lot of people will probably relook at it once they can have physical cards again, because the app isn't strong enough, in my view, to play solely from that.
Oh, I don't even care. I just hate playing with an app. It's like, I won't
Are
play
you
till
saying
there
you'll
are
actually
cards.
play?
Maybe. It depends on how much of the Signar stuff is playable, like with it. So I'll have to see at that point, because I don't think we have any of the new Signar stuff.
No, none of the new Signar stuff. But I mean, there is stuff that carries over.
It depends. If they let my Stormcrawler in, then I'm okay.
Oh,
If
okay.
if they get rid of the Stormcrawler, I'm out.
Do you need me to check that?
You can.
Paul Krill, want to play 40K, but deep in Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is such a fun game. I've had a blast every single time I've played it. And I've shown some other people how to play it, but then I never actually, like, I've brought it like every year, and then sometimes it gets played, and this year it didn't get played at all. There was just a bunch of 40K, Bolt Action, Marvel Crisis Protocol. Like, those were the games mostly getting played, although War Machine Mark III was getting played pretty consistently on at least one table. But yeah, Song of Ice and Fire is super fun. I really enjoy the tray movement, like the miniature scale, plus the game scale is nice.
it's another army that I need to get painted.
Yeah.
Several armies that I need to get painted, I should say.
We do. Even before Valhalla, I went and bought all the updated cards for it. And so, like, it should be fully ready to go. It's just something to get to. I mean, like you say, time, right? Like, where are you putting your time toward? And it seems to inexorably be for 40K at the moment. Yeah.
We should at least get a 40K battle report out.
Yeah.
That should probably be like,
Okay, guys, I still play games, I promise. Yeah.
we do have this. Although we do have a White Dwarf review coming up, probably in a few days or something. So
We
got
do.
that. Speaking of subscriptions,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cancel my subscription for that. I get my magazine 1 to 2 weeks after the game store. So there's no point in subscribing for me. And the last issue, not October, but September's like subscription issue, I never got it all. So I was like, I just had to keep buying them. So I'm paying for White Dwarf twice right now. I'm like, this is foolish. So anyway, side note, subscriptions. What are you gonna do? War budgies. Oh yeah, blighter gas. Gonna take some photos for scale. Yes, do send me some photos. I would love that. Checkaroo I'm going to Fall In convention this weekend in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Nice. Anyone seen the new Grimkin riding a giant rabbit mini? No.
No.
is that
Ken
like
has.
an official miniature? I remember for a while I was wanting to try to make one of the original colossals, like one of the ones that are sitting outside of that are sitting in Caspia, outside of the church, because they have two of the old school original ones.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to have one of those. It's like twice as tall as the current colossals.
Yeah.
And just make a bunch of special rules for it.
Well, yeah, so the original Colossals from the old lore when the Orgoth rebellion was originally happening, yeah, the original Colossals were enormous.
Yeah, they were enormous.
Just, like, very, business building tall, like, 10 stories tall or something. Enormous things. I feel like that's a little bit harder to model, but could be really fun.
Probably not even that hard to model. They have pictures of it
Yeah.
in some of the books.
Some of them, yeah.
Two of them kind of hanging out, being almost like gargoyles guarding the front of the church, the Morrowind church.
Fair enough. Let's see. I have not seen the new Grimkin riding the giant rabbit mini. That sounds really cool, though.
Where might one see that? Chat people.
Let's see. Troll Trader is a good option for secondhand stuff, too. Oh, okay, yeah. There's Mandy D throwing some options out there. Yeah, it's way cold here. I think we hit 35. Ugh. Yeah, my dad called me yesterday, and he's like, I woke up and checked the temperature outside. It was 15 degrees. I'm like, it's not what I live in the desert for.
And then that vomit that almost came up your throat just froze right there. It's so cold.
Oh, God. What a thought. Well, I noticed that my local GW now just has smaller skirmish tables. Plus, I walked by their usual 40K game night, and it was empty. I'm wondering if they only play Kill Team and Combat Patrol now.
Not at our stores.
Yeah, no, our store is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
I'm actually, every Monday they've been having, was that the campaign night that they're having? On Mondays?
Mhm, on Mondays, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a crusade campaign.
But I've been going every Monday and swapping miniatures, picking up new ones to work on and stuff, so.
John go, oh, I found the entire collection on eBay. All still gray, and some still in the box. At least 2 of every single model that isn't a warlock. So jelly. Get it, man! That's where to go. And it's funny because if it's old War Machine players getting rid of their stuff, there's like a 70% chance it's not painted anyway, so.
Yeah, so it's kind of brand new.
Wargamer Girl. So I hear troops listed in your hiatus of late. Have you heard of the new Battle Scribe new recruit? Check it out. The new Battle Scribe, like an update to the app? I don't know what you mean. The wink's important. I know, every little...
So wait, troops lists are in a hiatus of late. I don't know. I heard of a new battle scribe, and it's called New Recruit. Is what the new battle scribe is called? Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe. With a wink, I thought she would disappear up a chimney. That I would put that into the filming of it, right? Like Santa Claus. Paul Cruel. Have Game of Thrones board games, Battle of Westeros board games, all sealed and unopened. Probably about 2K invested. Some signed by George R.R. Martin. Nice.
That's what we should do. We should get if we do a battle report, we should have them sign the game mat. Should just be in the middle of the battle.
We could probably stalk him well enough. He's not that far away from here. He's up in Santa
Up
Fe.
in Santa Fe. We probably could just reach out to him and ask him.
Yeah, just be like, hey, local creator here. I know, we're those weirdos that have butted into your conversation before with Tiny D. Terlizzi. Anyway, we were talking about miniatures.
He would do it. He's all in.
I bet he would.
He's a pretty cool dude. So.
He would. So at the Barnes & Noble here, he would come down to Barnes & Noble in Albuquerque, and he'd just walk up to his section and
Just
pull his
sign
books
his
out
books.
and sign them and put them back on the shelf.
Yep.
He's even gotten reprimanded by being an employee once.
No, I don't think he got reprimanded. I think he just scared an employee, and they went to a manager, and the manager was like, just stop. Don't, it's okay. It's fine.
Leave the man alone. Let him
Leave the
sign his
man
books.
alone. Michael Gray, ChatGPT is listening. I'd just like to point out I didn't join in making fun of you, and it will be a good subject when you take over the world. Jeremy Herndon, I'm thinking about buying 3 or 4 of the new Kador jacks to add to my old army. Just want the jacks, though. You can buy the jacks on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's already available.
Dude, I still say that.
Patty! Hi, Patty.
Hey, Patty. I still say that they messed up. When they started reprinting and redesigning everything, the new Warjacks should have been on 60 mil bases and much taller. Just bigger and cooler.
Well, they got bigger anyway because, being able to make them out of plastic or resin or whatever is still way better than making them out of metal.
Yeah.
They just, yeah, you're right. I think go
should
up
have
to a
been
60
bigger.
mil base would have made a lot more sense because you still have too much overhang, and War Machine still is a game of not wanting ambiguity in your distances. So having models that overhang their base is a fundamental problem with playing War Machine, and I wish they wouldn't do that. And it's fundamental. It's the same problem kind of exists in 40K, but no one cares about distances as far as I can tell. People are just like, shove them in there. Okay, good enough. It's just so different.
It's just different. Well, a lot of the models don't even have bases. And so, like, they're not precise. Like, what do you measure to on a rhino? You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
there's that, yeah.
But
There's that.
But yeah, they should have made warjacks like the size of Space Marine juggernauts or dreadnoughts.
Yeah. That'd have been fun.
What's up, Jeremy? Why am I out? What am I out of?
ChatGPT has replaced you for ideas generation for Deathstalker 5.
Oh,
That's my guess.
I mean, somebody still has to make the movie.
True.
ChatGPT can't do that.
That's
And
true.
Pika isn't up to the task yet.
There are so many 3D or so many AI programs, Pika and Midjourney and the ChatGPT
there's
4.0
many
I
of
think
them.
does images and
Well, I think ChatGPT 4.0 uses
Dolly.
Dolly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it uses Dolly, and so it's just integrated in is all that is. But Midjourney's still better than Dolly. Although Dolly can figure out words, I think.
Oh, that's
instead
helpful.
of just having weird alien languages.
Does it figure out hands?
That's what end painting is for.
I see. Let's see. Legacy armies are quite playable in War Machines. Thomas Grable's supporting you playing Sigmar. You can still play your stuff. Played 2 games. War Machine. Oh, Jeremy played 2 games of War Machine. Okay. That's what you did at Valhalla. That's right. Drongo, so we are building a new house on my property next year. I'm pushing for a table room with parking and cams so I can invite people over to record matches. Looks good as of now. That would be pretty sweet.
I agree.
I think I support this idea. It's a good idea. Michael Gray, I just went in big on a Ret army for War Machine, playing like it's 2016, or partying like it's 2016. Excellent. Jeremy, I also have Song of Ice and Fire, and we'll be using it for Dragon Rampant also. What do you like about Dragon Rampant, Jeremy? Does it have an app? Does it require you to pay for it? Patty's Parlor, I had to cancel my mini crate sub. Made me sad. I was a sub since it started, but I hated hounding PP to get my models. I did mini crate for a while.
Yeah, for quite a while. In fact, that was mostly what your paint and chat
Would be the new.
Was just the new.
Yeah, and now it's I haven't kept up with it. There's just the backlog just started getting really problematic. Let's see, I'm just not that into Mark IV, says Patty. And Jeremy also confirms the Grimkin miniature is official. It's on their Facebook page. Okay. It's really hard to keep up with where they put out stuff. Pull in the plants. Oh, from the.
They should make a
letter.
magazine that they put out quarterly that kind of like rounds up all the new stuff so we can read it.
Oh, what an idea.
So what are the new Hordes armies? Achilles Rain already answered. Brian Blood Marauders and Chimera. Chimera, we did an unboxing here on the channel for the battle group. And that was, the army was made by Rias, if you remember her from Legion of Everblight. She's just making her own army, so they're sort of dragon kin people, but not Everblight directly. Yeah. But
thing.
It's the thing. It's the whole thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but Jeremy's already making his own armies. It's just not for War Machine.
But yeah, Jeremy, I'm pretty sure Chimera does use the Fury mechanic. That should be what they use there. Patty's Parlor. Jeremy and I are trying to figure out the best way to navigate that with our Heartbreaker game. That would be fun. I look forward to seeing what you guys do with that. Jerry DeBaca, Zacchaeus, known as the Winter's Chill, is quite large for a Grimkin. Zacchaeus. Interesting. Like, what's the best way to play minis agnostic with precision rules? That is a fair question. I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, you just have to have uniform bases. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you can use whatever miniatures you want, but they still need to have bases that adhere to a game, to like, the game we're playing.
Oh, like maybe if they all have...
Well,
Alright, I see the
30,
Lash of
40,
Corva.
50 mil bases, like they should all mean kind of the same thing.
Madame Moriarty. Wow. She looks really cool as a gator. Death Ripper plushie.
Gators are great.
I just could never get in on the plushies. I hate stuffed animals. Belly Gull, Master of Pain, another mercenary, a really well modified hurricane or storm wall. Alternate chassis. Pig galley crew for the Brine Blood Marauders. Oh, there it is. Zacchaeus, the Winter's Chill. Oh, neat.
Oh, Drongo's headed out.
Ooh,
Bye, Drongo. Thank you so much for popping by.
that's fun.
That you dig?
That'd be fun. That is fun. I like that.
He's a busy-looking model, but he's really cool.
I think I like him, except for all the swirly stuff around him, but
It's his cape.
is that all his cape?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's...
It's
So
chilly.
does he
He's
have
the Winter's
Spawn's cape?
Chill.
Does that
Well,
count?
it's ice, it's crystally ice stuff. No, they don't have a Storm Strider, so Tommy is out. Oh, they don't have a Storm Strider. Drongo, well, we gotta go. So, Callous Rain Storm Strider is part of Unlimited. That seems so sad to lose the Storm Strider.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I'm out, apparently.
Lash of Horva is for the narrative event that's happening this weekend. For Warfare Weekend. I hope you guys have so much fun. That'll be great. Hey JP, congrats on 250 on Twitch. Nice. JP got rockets. He made 250 followers on Twitch this week, so I did a gift basket drawing. Congratulations, JP got
nice.
rockets.
I wonder if Storm Strider's out because they just don't have the mold for it still. I wonder if that's literally it.
And I'd have to work in the morning so I can buy more games. Keep up the great work, guys. Bye, Paul Curl. Thank you so much for popping by and hanging out.
If I built a new mold for it, do you think they'd put it back in the game? Just send it to him?
You can try.
Here's a gift. Bring back my stuff.
So for you War Machine players, do you subscribe to the app or do you use only the free version? And for you Warhammer for 40K or Age of Sigmar players, do you subscribe to the app or do you only use the free version? And then for anyone else, I mean, I guess Flames of War, Jeremy was saying, actually charges for it. I think all of the other apps are free. Do you use apps to play your war game at all? Because the other thing is, I wonder if there's a little bit of a generational shift happening with that. Like apps are all the rage with the kiddies, but
Well, so
old school gamers not so
I used
much.
to use pen and paper, right? Because I played second edition 40K. And every time I played 40K since then, I just used pen and paper. You know, use a little calculator on my phone. It just feels like what you do with a war game, right? And so it's why, like, War Machine was kind of brilliant. Their points costs were low. I got in Mark II, right? And so you just have these cards, and you just lay the cards out and add them up. It was great.
Yeah.
And so for 40K, you always got a piece of paper and you just wrote it out. And I know a lot of people used Battlescribe at the time, or they used another one too. Do you remember that? It was like one of the first. It was the first Valhalla we ran, and they want us to bring a printer because everybody's printing something out. I forgot what app or website or whatever they were printing it off of. I can't remember, but they've bounced around with a bunch of those. But I was perfectly happy over the last few years just going to wahapedia.ru because they just had all the information there, and I could just go back to my piece of paper, right? And just, they would keep it up to date. You just, you know, because you never even know, even if you have the codex, or even if you have the army update, or you bought that, the chapter approved for that year, 5 minutes later, they've already changed, points, cost, and other stuff. Like, but you go to Wahapedia, and it was all there, right? And I assume that's what a lot of people use the app for. And so, like, I was fine just having a website that just told me, and then I could go.
Use that
never
information.
had an app. I don't ever really want one.
Wahapedia's layout was actually
They were great.
arguably better than Battlescribe too, because Battlescribe you could go to a print list.
Oh, they had their lore there too. Like where you would look at your army and look at the points, you could literally click on another tab, and it just had tons of lore about like the faction.
Yeah.
And all kinds of stuff like that. Like, it was great.
Which I think the Warhammer app is kind of mimicked in some capacity because there's lore bits in there
Yeah.
a lot, and the rules references come up so quick. I mean,
Well, the problem is Wahapedia hasn't been updating. Like, they've got a couple of factions. Like,
Oh.
whoever runs it has been kind of slow to do the new version of the game.
there might
So
be reasons for that.
I haven't really been able to do much on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there might be some world issues that have affected that.
Yeah, William Inez was wondering if they got 10th edition on Wahapedia, but you're saying only kind of partially.
Some of the factions are there, and some aren't. But I would definitely go there and see if they have yours, because I like that. That was my favorite. Like, out of any of the resources, I liked the way they did theirs the best. I would have paid for it. I would have just paid a subscription just to have that. That would have been fine, as long
be
as I
able
don't
to
ever
print
have to
them.
have it on my phone. Like, you know.
Well, so 40K is doing decent right now because the index cards, the index data slates or whatever, are printable online. Now, I am photoshopping them to make them fit a certain page or whatever, so that I could cut them out and print them double-sided in my printer and everything. But you have that information available to you to just have in your hand. And so the app works as a good supplement for me because I have both. Especially when I'm like, what does that rule mean?
Yeah. Well, I really liked the War Machine one because you could poke around and, you're just laying in bed at night, you can't sleep, or you're just sitting somewhere. You're like, oh, what is the rule for that? Or I wonder what this model is. And it's fine. You look that up. I never want to play a game on it ever in my life.
Well, I don't think the Warhammer app actually has you play with that.
Although Andrew Fairbanks here says, I use Wahapedia, paper, and a pen. Very analog, I know. But it's literally exactly what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, and that's totally fair. But Achilles Rain does subscribe to the War Machine app for the lore. And that's why I subscribed. It was before the Chimera unboxing so that I could read the lore. And I did cancel my subscription, but it doesn't actually cancel until like the 20th of this month. So I'm going to try and catch up on some of the lore through that. Because that's the only way I have to learn any of the new stuff happening at this point. So question then, because the Warhammer app and the War Machine app are approximately the same. Now, if you were to compare the free version of either app, you get a lot more from the War Machine app on the free side. Because Warhammer limits all of your access to stuff. You can look at things, but you can only build one list, flat out. And beyond that, you really have to subscribe. So for the same $5 charge, though, I think you get a lot more out of the Warhammer app for the $5 a month than out of War Machine, because the War Machine app gives you access to more stuff in the app and the lore. The Warhammer app gives you like a free mini per year and all of the Warhammer Plus like content and videos to watch and painting tutorials. So it's like they make the free version less and then give you a lot more for spending that bit of money. And then the other app is a lot more for free and then a little bit more for the same amount of money. So I don't know if like for bang for your buck,
I like a lot more for free and then a little bit for money, because that feels almost more like
pay to
Patreon
win.
or something.
Okay, yeah.
Right, where you're like, I'll pay for this because I like supporting the company. But a lot of the basic functionality is already there. I think that makes a lot of sense in a way. It's very customer friendly, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. It definitely is a lot more accessible, to use that phrase, especially if you're going to be a smaller game and you need more people playing. I don't think you want your app to be a barrier to entry on that.
Yeah.
Because that puts people off, and it pisses them off, frankly. Like, to be like, wait a minute, I need to pay to do what? And I can't print these cards? Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No, the printing of the cards is kind of a barrier to entry for a lot.
Are you talking about for War Machine?
Machine, yeah.
Yeah, I think the printing of the cards, I just think that they're behind. I
Yeah,
think that
probably.
they just don't have the manpower
Yeah.
to do it at the moment. And I understand that to a degree, but I kind of also feel like they should make it a priority.
Yeah, that's something. If a lot of people are waiting for it, then
Yeah.
they're not
And
going to
if
get
it's-
those people until after they
Well,
do that.
especially if you said you're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you say you're going to do it, just do the thing.
Patty's Parlor. I like the subscription for one-page rules. Their army builder is nice and simple. The rules are easy to print whenever I want, and the minis are cool. Yeah, one-page rules is something I have not explored yet, but it does seem to be catching on quite well. In fact, some of the minis, the 3D printed files that Paul has shown me to print, will say one-page rules compatible. I think they actually put that on there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it kind of I assume it encourages people who are already playing one-page rules to be like, oh, well, I like these minis, and they're compatible, whatever that means. I guess just base size or something. Yeah, the Predator, not Predator, but obviously Predator models had that listing, I think.
Predators are cool. But War Machine already had a Predator.
Yeah.
The Totem Hunter.
The Totem Hunter is sweet. Patty's Parlor. The War Machine cards would be nice if they would just do a printer-friendly version. Yeah?
I mean, that's what we're all waiting for.
You know what doesn't need battery, power cord, internet access, or toner, ink? Pencil and paper. You don't even need a calculator.
Correct.
If you know your basic nats. And what about blank War Hordes cards, like generic Battletech sheet? Fill in your rat, mat, etc. All. Yeah, you could probably do that.
Yeah, that's true.
The only slight ruffle in that would be because of the different heads and arms that you can put on all the warjacks. You would rewrite that each time. But yeah, you absolutely could do that.
No, but like just a card, and then that's the card for your whatever version, right? And then you just print a new card, and then you fill that one in
Yeah.
by hand. And so it's like having all your cards, but you just get to fill them in yourself. And it's not like all professional. I would still prefer that.
There's something kind of nice about that. I mean, when you look back to, H.G. Wells' Little Wars,
Yeah.
there's something so sweet and wholesome about the concept of you're playing on the floor, you're stacking up books to represent buildings, or mugs and all of that stuff to create your battlefield terrain, because so much of it is in your imagination, because the idea is just, I am going to out-strategize or beat this other guy. Like, we're at war, we're doing it this way. And all of the other aesthetics, while nice, really are secondary to that magic.
That's actually how I was playing Malifaux back when I was playing Malifaux, because I didn't have any terrain.
Yeah.
So I was using like my music boxes and like little chests and stuff like that. Put like a mirror on the table. I'm like, okay, so that mirror area is water.
Yeah, it's a reflective pond.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was playing back when I was playing. 'Cause I haven't played in a
like
long
all
time.
of those are, I don't know. To me, that's whenever I approach a tabletop, like I think there should be one cell phone laying on it and it's playing music, maybe, right? Like just the rest of it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Please don't be looking
otherwise,
at your
I'm just gonna
phone.
go
Pay
play a video
attention to the game.
Well,
Like-
there's that too, because I guess if it's on your phone or on a device, then every other distraction is popping into there too. And I mean, if you take something like a war game, which is a fundamentally apocalypse-proof kind of game, generally, like, oh, I know the rules, and here's my little figurines, and you play on this physical plane, like, removing too much of the physical elements of that might, I guess, kind of change what it is, and maybe that's preferable to some. Maybe I'm just hung out with too many old people or something. I don't know. I feel like there is a certain secret sauce or magic to being really there and really in it.
Case in point is like, I've seen people who have dice rollers on their phone, and it's like, what the hell? Dice are your like little magical accoutrement that like makes it feel cool. You got your game, your dice, and when you're just doing that on your phone, it's like, I really wish you would just go and play one of those like phone games they advertise on everything. Just go do that. Like,
Yeah.
And
I mean, I get it in a pinch, like if you
you
don't
still
have dice
happen
with
to
you.
have them
Yeah,
with you or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
But I don't know. We shouldn't remove ourselves from the real world until we can actually remove our physical bodies from the real world.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I noticed like some board games also have gotten to the point where people are just playing them online now. They don't go and hang out and play games anymore.
it's
They play
just
them
a
online.
computer game then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, then just play a good computer game.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, and for some games, I kind of get why they have an app for like Mansions of Madness and like the Lord of the Rings campaign game. They have it builds the map as you go, so it tells you where things are going as
Yeah,
you
I
build.
can't even do that. Man, I
But
played
it's
Advanced Hero Quest. They had an actual map builder in the rule book. You didn't need a
so
phone or
the
computer
first
for it.
edition of Mansions of Madness does have it so that you have like the master of the game who's playing all the other things and building the map as you go.
Yeah.
It's just you have to put like cards in every room, and it takes a lot longer to set up. Is the
That's
problem.
But you're
So
not playing games to be efficient. Like games by their very nature, are defined as a waste of your time. You're doing it because you enjoy it.
I would push back on that a little bit. I think games are also an experience of practicing something else, right?
Well, but I mean, you're not.
Yeah, you're not at a job making money.
Yeah, you're
but
not
you
doing
are.
stuff. It's a way you are killing your time, and you should be doing it because you enjoy it, not to get it out of the way.
Push back on the idea of killing your time with it too, though. Like killing your time is sitting and watching TV, or watching something that is like a true waste of time, right? Like you've done nothing productive, you have learned nothing, like you've gotten nothing out of it. I think, at least in the case of strategy games, you do learn about like ways of thinking, and puppies playing isn't wasting their time; it's healthy. And
well, so I mean, things like that, like depending on what you watch on TV or what you're doing with your games, like it's not a complete waste of time, but it's still a killing time. I think it's still, you're not trying to get things done. You're not paying for your child's college tuition by playing a game or something. You know what I mean? You're like,
well, depending on what you're doing with it.
Sure, but like the idea of it is that you're doing something because you enjoy doing it. And if it's like you're constantly going out of your way to remove as much of that as possible, then I really do have to ask the question, did you really enjoy doing it? If you're just trying to get rid of it and not have to do it, and take all these steps to not have to do these things, it's like, well, then are you really sure you enjoy it, or are you just trying to get it out of the way? And I think that's a legitimate question you should ask yourself if you spend your time doing that. And again, there's one of the developers of Civilization, said that if you put it in the hands of gamers, they'll optimize the fun out of everything. And I do think that's what a lot of apps do. I think it's what a lot of like, oh well, this board game requires a phone to do all of this, and it's like, well, either A, it just wasn't well designed to begin with, or B, like, maybe you don't enjoy doing what that game does, and you should do something else.
So then I guess the question is having an app at all even a hindrance to the enjoyment of a game by virtue of being a fundamentally distracting device?
So yes and no, and that's why I say like the idea of the War Machine app I liked because I used it when I wasn't playing the game. Mm-hmm. I used it as like a little encyclopedia or something. But requiring it to play the game, I do think is a hindrance to the game.
Yeah. Jerry Sidabaka played a 40K tourney against a guy who did paper and calculator. He was 200 points over the force limit. Oh man, that's a problem. So that's where you have what is it, an event tournament? Oh my gosh. Someone who's in charge of the event. TO, thank you, tournament organizer. Someone checking your lists to make sure that's correct. So really, it shouldn't have gotten that far anyway, but whatever.
I also think it's where games like War Machine did well, where it's just like, yeah, this unit's 8 points.
Yeah, the smaller point levels,
you can
yeah.
easily add it up in your head. The moment someone lays the cards out, someone else will look and go, that's too many points. Like, it's easy instead of arbitrarily hundreds and thousands of points when they probably don't even really need to be there.
So you still have hundreds of points with Warhammer, but the way the list build is now, where regardless of how you build it, it's X points, does make that way simpler.
Sure, yeah.
Akela said they finally added the PC War Machine app. Printing is hopefully in the near future. Sweet. Akela ran, I also don't want to play games if they don't have an app anymore. So then that's even a different perspective of like you want the app specifically, as opposed to as opposed to not needing it. Or I guess you don't necessarily need to need it, but you want it as an option.
So you're saying Poorhammer reviewed the War Machine app?
I guess so. I have to check it out.
I always think of them as 40K. I've been watching a lot of their videos lately. They're fun.
A barrier to entry, like a great barrier. Probably threw it together in a hurry and didn't check. Probably. Let's see. The one-page rules compatible means they're a one for a stand in with one of their current line, or there's an official fan-made army list in the army builder for these minis. Oh, okay. So that's cool. Yes, the Skull Hunters, who aren't at all predators, are one-page rules compatible. So there's Skull Hunter army stats on the website. Gotcha. William Inez says that the mirror is a great idea for water.
It says it's genius.
Genius, yes. Patty said that's how Kitty and I played. We taped out our table on the floor. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, bigger, especially when you need like 4x6 or whatever. Like, I do kind of like the board size is getting a little bit smaller, and I love neoprene mats because, I just love beautiful tables.
Well, yeah.
I think back when I was playing Malifaux, those were brand new, the neoprene.
It was
yeah.
still very new, yeah. In fact, there was competition with straight up vinyl mats as well because Malifaux, with the vinyl mats, you could, because pre-measuring was
Yeah.
totally a thing, you could grid things out a little easier.
I remember Mario made a bunch of his mats for that.
Yeah, Mats by Mars. Let's see. Jerry, he said he did the list the night before. He had all the models ready. Guess some guys cannot do basic maths. Or he
I
was a
mean, that's
cheater.
true.
Fair enough.
Flo's right. We all started with books for hills, tissue boxes for buildings, cans and cups for other terrain. The glory days. Well, and it's like, why is that special? Like, why is that something that is remembered fondly instead of being on just completely gorgeous, pristine, perfectly made diorama board? Because they're both really wonderful experiences in different ways.
I think the fancy boards are something that's more available when you like go to a game store or something like that, or a tournament. Like, it's a different experience whether you're playing at home or doing something like that. Because not everybody's going to go out and buy a ton of terrain,
For sure.
Sort
you know,
of,
and put
yeah.
that together.
So is there a certain, like, innocence maybe to the...
Yeah,
Simplicity.
I think that's what it kind of leans back to, is a point in time where the game. There's a difference between when you're first playing a game and you're learning it, and it's kind of this really cool thing, and then there's a point where like you kind of know everything about it, and it's, you know, as a lot of people use the word solved, you know, where like the game's sort of out there and it's okay, we know this, and really all you think about is little rules and balances here and there, and that you're annoyed at this and all that sort of thing, and it's just a different point in time, and so it's like the
feels
crappy terrain is almost like an icon of it,
Okay.
and so it is a point where you actually in some ways kind of enjoyed the game.
It was still
more.
like a wonder in a way.
Yeah.
Bring back the wonder. Which, I don't know, like some beautiful terrain boards do that. You look at Winners
What is it?
SEO, or you look
Make
at
fantasy fantastic again.
you look at Winners SEO's battle reports. You look at the tables we have at Valhalla. Like, there's just a beauty to that. Even walking around Nova and looking at all of the tables, like that amazing Age of Sigmar with their 25-foot long wall.
Well, yes,
Oh, yeah, that
looking
was
at all
cool.
that terrain and stuff. I think it's more of a thing of seeing that type of terrain and playing on it in special occasions, as opposed to having to pick it up and build it and have it take up space in your home also.
Maybe. Miniature wargamers are used to having their space taken up in their home. Like, I can't imagine that's that different. But, yeah. Let's see. William Innes says the dice roller is when you're doing an RPG over Discord and want to roll in front of the table.
Again, Discord.
Yeah, and it's like, it has its place, but gosh, these are healthier in person.
Well, it's
Yeah, well-
like usually it's Discord because you have to. It's not the ideal way. It's just your friend lives real far away, or you got a bunch of
Yeah,
people,
and
so you make do.
That's
But it's not the ideal way of.
well, and
playing
that's
it.
the thing is when we were at Valhalla and we were doing the role playing games with DM Scotty. And I was talking with other people and I was like, yeah, this is the only time I ever get to play any role playing games because I don't have a group or anything I can play with at home. And they're like, oh, well, we do things on Discord and was it the Roll20 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, that's cool, but it's not the same thing. It's so much more fun when you're with people. Like
Yeah.
that's
It
the
is
kind of experience
hard.
I'd be looking for is like a group
Yeah.
of people to hang out with.
Well, it's like for me, that's the breakover point is when you're at a group at a table with a bunch of people, then it's worth my time to play it. But if it's not, then it's like, it's fine. There's other things I'll do.
Well, if I'm
It's
going to be in
fine.
front of a computer
Yeah.
already, then I'm going to play video games with Paul, or I'm going to be learning how to sew some weird
Then I need to
garment.
be color grading my footage, or you know,
I'm going to be
I should
editing
just
a
be
video,
doing something else.
finishing my Nova editing footage. Like, yeah, I mean, you sit in front of a
Yeah.
computer, which is a multifunctional device, and suddenly your priorities are different because you're like, well, there's things that you should be doing, need to be doing, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas being out of that element, it's like why camping can be so good for disconnecting
Yeah.
from the world, right? Because you've removed yourself from all of those distractions. And theoretically, if
And
you're-
theoretically, you can make your own tent with a table in it and have everything you need to play a war game while you're camping.
Yes.
Even if you have zero power.
One suitcase of clothing and everything you need for the weekend, then there's like 3 other cases for your wargaming
you get
stuff.
one of those, what is it, those little pop-up tents, but the ones where they have the walls around them, and you can have room in there for a table. So,
Camp
I'm
hammer.
kind of down.
camp hammer. That's right.
I'm kind of down for that. Like, that sounds like fun.
Maybe when the
Or-
weather gets warmer.
Or you can be even cooler and bring a couple of like little rake and something and like flatten out a little spot of ground, find some sticks and make your
Get
own
some
hills,
actual terrain.
make your own hills on it and just play outside, you know?
That's how my brothers and I would play when.
It's harder for the plastic GW models because wind can blow them around, but the metal models, that's what those are for. You got some
I would be
computer.
horrified to have my models outside. I would lose them instantly. A dingo would carry them off. I don't know how we'd even have a dingo in New Mexico, but one would come up and carry my minis
I
off.
feel like there's at least a few weirdos in this state that own dingoes.
Right. So, camp hammer sounds fun in a tent. Wow. Jerry Studebach also said that he didn't win any games at all, despite being 200 points over. So there you go.
So he really probably didn't understand maths.
He probably doesn't.
No, it would be the thing where you'd be playing on the ground and you'd turn and you'd look back and then you just see like a line of ants and there's just a mini on their backs. Just
Bastards.
Well, that's when you use your foot-shaped AOEs. You
I don't know.
defeat
I
the
think
ants.
I think if they did that, they might have earned it. Like, like what is even on their day? It's like we have a statue to a new god or whatever.
That would be
that'd
even more
be that's the video that you put out. It's just videos of ants carrying your minis away. Just like
And here we are worried about AI. Oh, JP got rockets. I've taped out a play area on the floor before. Tan carpet is a great play surface unless your job is to make games. Tan carpet.
Well, that's a desert battle. Right
Yeah,
there.
we used fabric, like a felt, like
It
fleece
was a-
material.
Yeah, there was a tannish
Fleece material.
fleece. Our second battle report, I think
so.
we used that stuff.
I still have that table that you guys made.
Yeah, it turned into a Malifaux table
Yeah.
for flow.
Such a time for me to get to the game store, but Bjorn is learning one-page rules like a boss, an orc boss. He likes to shout "wog" at me while he's kicking my butt. I love it. Oh, just like his mom. Hi, Shale, welcome. Rebecca, I honestly think computer games will be the end of board games over the next generation, given there's no prep or setup, just plug and play. Dude, you say that, but think about
thank you.
who's mostly participating in all of the Kickstarter board games and that entire board game renaissance.
No,
Kickstarter.
I think it's literally the opposite of
Yeah.
what he's saying. Like I saw that. I saw the rise of video games, and the moment video games got real big, board games went through the roof in a way I'd never seen before.
It was
And-
wild.
And I worked at AOL in the 90s. Like I saw computers like start to appear in people's homes. Board games were nowhere near as big back then as they are now. Board games are bigger now because of computer games.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think people like playing games, they like the computer games and stuff, but I think that component of people that need human interaction, they want to still do that with games, but
Yeah.
they still want the human interaction, and so it's why they still keep showing up and playing each other.
Yeah, I mean, board game cafes have become a thing, and that's like you see 20-somethings in there.
Yeah.
We've got like Slice and Dice here in town. They opened a
I wanna
second
go check that place
location.
out.
Yeah, it's nice. So I disagree, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I think it's because computer games got real big. Because ultimately, there's really no board game that a computer game can't do better. It just organizes, it just handles all the stuff for you. The graphics will be better, the whatever. It'll do all of that, but what it won't do is put something in front of you and have a human being sitting across from you.
Yeah.
And it can never do
and-
that. And that's why the board game side has gotten so big.
And William Inez kind of comments on it too. Board games and minis have the tactile element to them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I need the tactile element. I mean, video games are okay. I usually when I'm playing that, I'm playing solo things for the most part. Mm-hmm. I don't like playing with strangers. If I'm gonna play a game that has people in it, sure I can play with friends, but I would much rather play a board game in person with someone.
I don't mind playing board games or miniature games with strangers because I've done tournaments and you're like,
yeah.
oh, hi, you do play with strangers. I am way more shy about playing video games with strangers.
Yeah.
Because video game people can be jerks.
Well, it's a lot easier to be. Like the social contract, someone right in front of you. I mean, yeah, you can have some jerks, but generally that's not going to be the case. Not hearing somebody who has a hot mic on while playing Dark Tide. You're like, Jesus. Kiss your mother with that mouth. Anyway,
It was hilarious. Miranda was playing a Dark Tide game, and I guess there was a new player on or something, but he had his friend explaining the game to him. He
was trying to explain
and
what
their
40K
mic just happened to
was.
be open. Like, they weren't talking to anybody in the game. We
Nope.
could just hear what he was saying. It was hilarious.
It
How much
was-
trash he was talking.
It was hilarious. Yeah, there's that certain, like, I don't know, you always hear it, like that try hard where you really, you've learned the different phrases that you say to put other people down. You don't know them, you just say it because it's like a habit, I think. I don't know.
I just remember it's like, yeah, I mean, this is a lower level game, so the rest of these players probably suck. But it's this thing, and it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Patty's Parlor, when you homeschool, wargaming is homework. Rules equals reading, comprehension, moving models, practicing measuring, painting, arts and crafts. That's right, it's a very combined approach.
Why couldn't I have grown up in your household? That would have been amazing.
I would have loved to have known about I was homeschooled. I would have loved to have known about that earlier, but my dad
No.
was definitely not going to be into war games, and my mom sure heck did not know about them either.
I don't know. I was not homeschooled, but my grandparents, my mom, they were big into like puzzles and games and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not war games. That wasn't until a little later on they even knew what those were, but
I still say Miranda's brother failed her. He was playing Shadowrun.
He was, and he excluded me. So rude. Anyway, that's a whole other issue. Paul, if I'm doing my single hunt game on Phasmo, that feels more like solving a puzzle than playing a game. That's true, and you've got a whole process down for it, so you process those ghosts more than you like play the Phasmo game. Whereas when I'm in there, you're usually like, okay, you're considerate of me like being in there like for the 2 minutes, and I'm like, I'm scared, I'm gonna leave the house now, and then you try to get yourself killed by a revenant, which is like the rule when we play apparently.
me even tries to do that when I play, but I'm a little more in the house than you are.
Kellis Rain, I disagree. It's not any different than waiting for the dude to find the printed card, find hit or rat or mat, find his marker and mark it. I prefer the app, much faster and requires less packing. It does require less packing. As far as how much faster it is, that definitely can depend. I mean, you remember the War Room app, because when it crashed, you had no backup and you forfeit your game. So there was a sort of catastrophic element to that. It definitely can be faster, but if someone's just efficient and using their pen and paper and markers, then what's the difference at that point?
I don't know that it's faster, because once he's like, this is my army, and he lays his cards on the table, they're there. There's no app that's faster than my eye glancing at them. They're there. Like, they're pulled up for the whole game.
They are, and it's easier for your opponent to see like who's more damaged or whatever.
Yes.
They can look at their app and see that too, because in War Room you can, I believe, share your situation.
Yeah, but you're like flipping through pages in an app and all that stuff.
Not in the immediate gameplay part, but if you want to check a rule, then the card becomes faster because you just grab it and look at it as opposed to flipping to those pages.
I would
you're
even say
talking
in the
about.
immediate game thing, I literally can glance over at his side and go, oh, yeah, that Warjack's got some damage here. And, oh, wait, is his arm out? Yeah, it's out. Like, it's just so fast.
But you can do that with the app too.
No, you have to go to it with the app.
You-
Whereas the other one, the card's already out.
You've seen the layout, right, of when you have a versus game?
I don't think the entire army is on one page.
Yes.
Like all of the little dots, how can you read it? If
It's
they're
just
all on one
lines.
page.
Like I'll show you after. It's a thing. But it can be good. I think at that point it's a little bit of a taste preference. You can be slow and fumble regardless of what device you have. Let's see. Paul, yeah, I can see board games dying. They'll just be video games and tabletop games. But board games for really young kids would stay.
Not in my world.
All evidence I've seen points the opposite.
think
Like in the
so.
90s, I used to work at Wargames West. We were one of the bigger mail order distribution. gaming companies out there. We were one of the companies that bought into Magic the Gathering, like
Yeah.
when that hit real hard and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, I've since the growth of video games, I've never seen board games grow like this. Like, it was so mind blowing to see how wildly popular board games got once computer games grew. Like, it really fueled the computer games fueled the board gaming industry like nothing you've ever seen.
And you think it's specifically linked to video games?
Yes, 100%. And it's because the people who play video games, playing video games, I know there's like, oh, there's Discord and there's this and that, but there really isn't human interaction. And I think people do need that.
Yeah.
Whether no matter how introverted they want to say they are, like, people still need that. And it's like they go out and find it, but they still want to find it over gaming, because gaming is something a lot of people have really taken on as a central thing they do, and so they want to interact in a gaming environment. And like I said, I've seen it explode in a way it never had before.
Now, for me, if board games were to slow down, I wouldn't say it's because video games. I would say it's because generational, like how you're brought up. Because kids today are just brought up not to interact with other kids. They're brought up to be on their tablet all the time.
Yeah.
So,
you can't overcome biology that way.
I mean, you can't. But if it were to slow down, I think it would be because of something like that. Not because video games are better than board games or that they should be taking over. So for like me and like DJ, for our generation, we're like, well, video games can be fun, but we miss the days of like split screen.
Right.
We miss sitting with other people
Couch
and playing
co-op.
couch co-op, playing with other people.
GoldenEye.
Like, if we were going to play video games, those are way more fun because we're with people. We're kidding around. We're eating food together. We're playing against each other.
Your friend who's winning.
Yes.
Well, and
But,
the
we
thing
also
is,
love
like,
board games.
There's a lot of people out there who aren't gamers that still do that. There's tons and tons of couch co-op players that play Smash Brothers only at parties or only with their friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are more normies than there are gamers out there.
Yeah.
And so those experiences are still huge. And so, like, those people, even those people, you can get to sit down and play a board game. Think about how many, like, Valhalla guests come in and they only play board games, but they don't play tabletop miniature games or stuff like that. Don't even really do role-playing games that much except at Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I know what you mean, but I think even the younger generations, most of a younger generation aren't gamers. Most of them still have friends and see friends. Even though, like, antisocial behavior is more highly promoted, I don't think it overcomes human nature.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think board games are going anywhere. I don't.
Yeah.
But if they were to slow down, if they were, I would think it would probably be more because of that than of anything else. Like, I love board games, and I'm definitely always going to choose them over video games with people.
Huh. I don't think I like board games all that much.
But you like war games.
I do like my tabletop games, and then I love my video games. But only some of them. Like, I can't play a ton of video games.
Yeah.
I did just beat Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, by the way, which I'd never played before, and is such a delightful game. Oh my gosh, what a lovely little game. I feel like I should do like a media glitch segment on it. But anyway, neither here nor there. The official BattleTech app is meh, says Shellabang, but Flex is incredibly useful. It's free, and it's the easiest way of printing record sheets and other options. The other options are ancient Java programs. Oh, Java, back in the day. Thomas Grable's excited. I'm bringing my 3D Thunderhead Fortress board to Warfare Weekend. Heck yeah, dude. JP Got Rockets agrees with you guys. Hard disagree. The board games are going to die. 70,000 people each August in Indianapolis. Would beg to differ.
Yeah.
So Gen
and that's
Con,
only grown.
huh?
And that's only grown.
It has only grown. Gen Con is huge. Gen Con is, I think, getting a little bit like San Diego Comic Con though. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's not board games that are there too. But yeah, it's an incredibly healthy convention.
Well, think of how much board gaming and stuff that you see at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that is a video game convention. And yet,
Yeah, there's a board game
still
library.
tons of board game play there and role playing game and magic.
It's an easy access way. It's an accessible way of socializing, right? You can generally join in a board game with anybody, even if you don't like the person you're talking to. You still have the board game mechanics to like get you through. and maybe you make some friends. The only downside is you just really can't have like deep conversations with anybody while playing board games, but you can definitely have friendly ones.
But I mean, think about it, RPGs and Magic the Gathering and all that stuff, all of it's there at PAX. Even though you're there seeing like, oh, all the really cool new video game stuff. It just, people enjoy both.
Shale mentions, though, PAX is gaming in general. It's some of everything. PAX Unplugged, upcoming. Yeah, that's true. Let's see if I can get through some of these messages. Boop, boop, boop.
It's
Patty.
like there's a whole discussion about the ants down below.
Yes.
I agree with JP on both counts on the children's and the board games. $1 million Kickstarters every month tell me the board game pool is healthy yet. Mandragora, hi, I'm late, but finishing my dragon. But I finished my dragon. But the real news is I got a 3D printer and a wash cure station.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations, Mandragora. That's exciting. Do you know what the first thing you're going to work on, or what the first thing you're going to print is? Have you already printed it? Is it another dragon?
First thing is that little test.
Yeah, the little test cube or whatever.
That's true. That's true. Discord, when you have to, is a good way of putting it. As my and Miranda's friend Ashley plays D&D over Discord when they're all in different places. That's nice when you're trying to stay connected to people you generally knew physically, or you're just good friends. Like I would play an RPG with you over Discord, Paul. That's fine.
But it's like, would you rather play something over Tabletop Simulator, or would you rather just Miranda, come to England and play some Kill Team with you in person, right? Like
Kill Team First Edition.
Yeah.
Between the two, I would much rather have a person there, is what I'm saying. Like,
I'd want to go to England.
That'd be great.
I was like, yeah, let's play some Kill Team. Anyway, where's a good place to get some
I
tea?
just show up and my bag is gonna be full of like different spices, and I'll be like, I'm here. This is just for when we have to eat, okay? Don't worry about it. Because I've been to England, and I was a vegetarian at the time. Not a good idea. Boiled vegetables. Yeah. No, thank you.
Boiled vegetable. Boiled everything.
Not saying all your food's bad, but your vegetables are crap. Sorry.
Tea is delightful. Anyway, Patties, do you know what game travels super well? My game, Mutants. It's true. I brought the rulebook with me to Valhalla. Kellis,
Everybody should go check out his game Mutants.
You should. Check
Where
it out.
can they find it, Miranda?
Where can they find it, Patty? Where's your website? Give me the link again. Tommy putting me on the spot.
I thought it was at the, not One Page Rules, but I'm blanking on the name of the website where people can post their games. Why am I blanking on the name of this?
Just to embarrass me.
And me now, apparently.
Patty, help me out. Where can people find your game? Kellis Rain, I find playing video games don't give me the same feeling of content anymore. So I do end up playing War Machine online with people, along with local meetups. Tabletop Simulator is great. Tabletop Simulator is a surprisingly robust program. I feel awkward playing it because I'm not very practiced at it, but it is powerful.
Although, for people who like Tabletop Simulator, Polycam is a really good app you should download, because you can literally 3D scan your miniatures with your paint job.
You can indeed.
And then have them in a low poly format so you can literally use your army.
Patty, I do kind of wish Valhalla was during the best outside season. Playing War Machine in the warmth of the sun sounds amazing. Bare feet in lush grass, cold beer, dreams. Valhalla in the summer.
So wait, would that be summer or spring that you're talking about?
Good question. JP Got Rockets. To elaborate on that, Patty Parlor's kids will have board games and will continue that hobby throughout their lives. There are loads of amazing board games, and we are in a golden age of tabletop games. I think that's true. Shale, the ants have a hostage to protect against being Monty Python. Rebecca, we, the pre-internet generation, will keep board games and tabletop games alive. The post-internet generation and their kids won't have that nostalgia as much. It's way off, but it's coming. I don't know, man.
I see more post-internet people playing board games than pre-internet, frankly.
Just so many of them. If anything, the only issue would just be saturation of just there being so many freaking board games.
I mean, but there's just as much of a saturation for video games at this point.
That's true. I mean, video games have definitely been cheapening the experience. We had a Halloween party here, and Joel brought his kids, and one of them was dressed up as something from a video game. And I'm like, I don't even know what that game is. Like I knew what all the video games were in 1998. Knew all of them. I read IGN. I followed all of that. And now I'm just like, huh? What is that? I don't know. Never mind. And then I just go play like old Zelda games. So there's that. JP got rockets, but Patty, it is the best time of year. The aspens are going gold, and the sky is that wonderful Wasatch blue. It's so pretty up there.
It's so pretty.
Mandragora, I realized I shared it last time, so not reposting. Time passed me by. Yeah, that's right. I think I did see it posted. JP got rockets. You can also predict a computer program. It's a slave to its program. Humans are messy, chaotic, and unpredictable creatures. Hopefully not that unpredictable and crazy if you're playing a structured game with them, but there is always that element for sure.
Is that an Ian Malcolm quote?
It sounds a little bit more like from Men in Black, Tommy Lee Jones' character, but...
Okay, I thought it was right before, what's her name, got out of the car. The girl who looks like my sister.
Lex?
No, the lady.
Oh, Laura Dern,
Yeah.
Ellie.
Ellie, yeah, right before she gets out of the car. He's like, see, how could I have predicted that you would get out of the moving vehicle?
I might be missing that, that's true. Let's see. I only play video games with people I know these days. Yeah. I mean, she passed away in 1998, so no. Oh, fair enough. Patty, if you guys get time, I'd really like some friendly consulting on some game rules. At some point, Patty. Ask us after this movie's shot. The Very Angry Iron Warrior. Who wants to talk about the GW website? It's now warhammer.com. That's all the news on the GW website. Who cares? And then there's links. There's different websites for anything you want to go to. Whatever.
It's just all of the other websites, but under another URL.
Well, it just seems like they were happy they finally locked down that URL. I don't know what thing they had to do to get there, but they did. So, F2F is the best gaming you can do. Face-to-face, yes, I agree. I'm going nuts at the moment. I'm moving, so all of my minis, painting, and display tables have to go in the original boxes to go. My days have been nothing but wash and store. The real pain is I may have to seal.
Oof. Yeah, it sounds rough.
Free to play my butt. Fair enough. On the bright side, when you do get moved in, you can have everything freshly clean in a new organized space, and that will be a good feeling. JP got rockets. Thomas the Avalon Hill SPI GMT games in particular, after playing Harpoon on computer, I made the board game My White Whale, still searching. Very Angry Warrior also misses split screen.
Like to find the original game? Is that his white whale?
Maybe so. Harpoon on the computer. Michaelis Rain. My kids refuse to play board games unless it's Exploding Kittens. That game is ridiculous. Let's see, Iron Warrior. Split screen gaming was awesome. I still have my N64. Those are
I have mine too. My N64.
We really should just hook it up here in the studio and do some GoldenEye again. I haven't played that in forever. No
you have
proximity
GoldenEye?
mines.
Because I don't have
No proximity mines. No one gets to play.
But one shot kills. One shot
So
kills
Golden
are great.
Gun.
Yeah. So that things like the Cougar are just
I always
The
got
worst
so
gun.
lost. I always got so lost in those games. I mean, I would do okay, depending, but I was a ragey kid when I'd play.
You're
So.
ragey.
I mean, to
Very
be fair, the
ragey.
things that I liked to play with other people were racing and fighting games.
Oh, I loved racing games.
Racing
I was
games.
boss at the Pod Racer game for
Oh.
Star Wars Pod Racer game. I was good at that game.
As a
You're
Mario
a secret
Kart
Jedi.
64. Mario Kart 64. and,
Yeah. Oh God, Mario! All the Mario Party movies.
there was what was
It wasn't
it?
Versus, but we always played
Donkey
F-Zero
Kong
and
Racing
Super
was the
NES.
other one.
F-Zero, yeah.
Donkey Kong Racing, I really enjoyed.
Donkey Kong Racing was actually a lot of fun too. Let's see. Mark Anton Desjardins working on an app to play War Machine for real, but against a CPU opponent using a top view webcam and a laptop. Oh, interesting. Oh, I wish I could play split screen with my brother. Yeah, split screen definitely feels like a little bit of a generational thing because I don't know that translates super well to.
I mean,
Other
Smash
people?
Brothers it's not split
It's a
screen.
shared
It's just like
screen.
it's like a fighting game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm trying to think of what would be a good example of a split screen game now.
I don't think I can think of any.
I mean, you can couch co-op games now, even with the Switch
Well,
or
Smash
whatever.
Brothers is couch co-op,
No,
right?
it is,
But it's like, what's a split screen couch co-op?
Mario Party, I think, will do it.
Well,
No? Well,
it has a racing game in it, right?
It does, but there's
yeah,
different
so the
games.
mini games are split screen.
Yeah.
But the main game, it will just bounce to each player.
Okay.
Ah.
But yeah, like if
Because, yeah, I
you're
remember there was one we were playing, I forget what it was, Dylan.
at Joel's or
But
at
I know your
Dylan's?
mom used to have a little avatar in it she made.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that at one point when we're racing, like, there's a part where people are backing their cars in and out. And your mom kept backing her car out, like, and almost killing us.
Oh yeah, she had a me.
Because you could see, yeah, the little Mii's, like, it would just use other Mii's that weren't playing. And so you would, and I just remember that one was pretty funny.
Mark Anton, I want to create something a bit more story driven than what a normal game would be, like Final Fantasy Tactics style, automatic battle reports, etc. We'll start training the model-based object recognition software soon. I got a ton of image labeled. Wow, dude, that's very interesting. I'm curious how far, like, are you developing that to, like, sell to privateer, or, like, is this just, like, sort of an unofficial fan-made thing?
That sounds
really-
interesting.
it does, like, the idea of having some sort of story.
Yeah, 'cause
Narrative to
I've
it?
seen some videos on how, like, some of those, almost like the Google Glass, but other
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that can recognize certain images, and so if he's building up a library of it recognizing, like, a lot of the privateer miniatures, then they'll kind of know where they are, where they're existing in 3D space. So it'll want you to put them different places and play against you.
Oh, wow. Mandragora, and worse, because of the move, I can't receive mail, I don't have resin, so I want to start printing Chaos Knights, a year's worth of sets from Raging Heroes and Artisan Guild I sub to for FOMO. Oh no. You'll get to it. It will happen. It's okay, man. It sucks now, but not forever. Very Angry Iron Warrior. People nowadays don't even know what split screen is. Probably a lot of them, but it does
I feel like
still
they
apply
do, but
somewhat.
almost more as a trivia question than actually knowing, you know?
Chuggaroo Bob got hundreds of board games from SJ Games. Ogre for $2.95 to
Oh, wow.
SPI's campaign for North Africa at $200.
Oof.
Haven't played most of them in decades. Well, dude, Nemesis is a $200 board game, isn't it?
It's like 300 now.
Just for the base
Two-
game?
200 to 300, yeah. I think it depends. But it was a Kickstarter thing, so like getting a hold of it now is really difficult.
Yeah. Oh, Shale, I miss going to PAX. The last time I went to PAX was 2012. I was with my friend before he passed away. I'd love to go to PAX again. Very Angry Iron Warrior. I have my Space Marine Adventurers board game, but haven't played them. I think a lot of people get the FOMO thing, right? Like, you want to get that game because you'll get around to it. But then you get like 50 games because you're going to get around to it, and then it's like a horrible backlog.
And years later, you're like, oh yeah, I remember I bought that game. Does your
tell us-
brother still go to PAX?
Yeah, my little brother does, yeah. Because
Yeah.
he lives in, I think, Renton, so it's not too far for him
you
to
go- go visit
In
him,
fact,
go
him
to
and
PAX with
his
him.
girlfriend dressed as Zero Suit Samus, and he was some YouTube guy. Can't remember. It was one of those video game YouTubers that
Yeah.
You're like,
dressed in
and
a
he was
specific
something way less
style.
interesting.
Yeah,
Was he disguised toast?
I
That's the one I
know.
know off the top of my head.
No, gosh, I can't remember. Anyway, Very Angry Air Warriors. I have my. Okay, yeah. Achilles Rain says, Buddy is running a 75-point steamroller at PAX Unplugged. That'll be fun. Let's see. Paul, two Very Angry Warrior. Easiest way to play good old couch co-op games is to buy a Raspberry Pi 4, install RetroPie, and then buy 2 USB controllers. Wow. I wish I could go to Warfare Weekend, but I am booked to run Paint and Take at the Shawnee State U Games Conference. Nice. Well, I mean, if you're staying busy, that's still something. Maybe next year, right?
a very angry Iron Warrior is telling you that boiled vegetables are unacceptable, Flo.
I know. They are completely unacceptable. That's why when anybody brings up like going to Europe and they're like, we want to go check out, Britain and check out all these things, I was like, bring spices. Be prepared.
Bring some shakers. Put
Bring
some
cayenne
stuff on your
pepper.
food. Cayenne pepper. Bring a
I'm
can
like-
of green chili.
I always feel bad saying it, but at the same time, I'm like, God, man, my experience there, it was so cool. I loved it so much. I hated the food.
Dude, we live in America. Everybody picks on us for everything, especially our food. I don't feel bad about nothing. England can take it.
Excuse me for having tasty food.
Let's see. Jerry Cedarbuck. Anyone interested in Daggerheart RPG, Darrington Press, the new Critical Role RPG? I have not followed any of that, although Critical Role has definitely done wonders for helping keep some of that analog
Done
stuff
very
alive.
well for themselves.
Fairbanks, British food is bad when ketchup is vinegar. William,
Yeah.
William Inez, the random RPG group I was in fell apart. The one that stuck together is all guys who went to high school in the same suburb, meet 3 times a month in bad weather, once in good. Polycam? Polycam, right? Polycam?
I think so. I can
Yeah.
actually tell you. I
So
have
it's
it
a
on my-
free software that uses photogrammetry. You take a bajillion pictures on your phone of an
Yeah,
object.
That's it. Polycam.
Yeah, and then it'll build a 3D model plus the texture. For
By
you
the way,
for free.
also a subscription.
But
in
it's
order
free.
It's free to download and use, and you can do a certain amount without a subscription. But yeah, if you want to do your whole army, you probably will have to
Would need a
subscribe for at least that month. It's not real expensive, but it's pretty cool. I love that it keeps the paint jobs.
Yeah, the texture's really sweet. Let's see. Paul, I've heard our ketchup is sharper because some of the sweeteners in yours are banned over here. Fair enough.
I mean, but they
Hey,
do.
Dave. Clayton Tate, welcome. It sounds a lot like an Ian Malcolm quote. It does. Let's see. Jeff Goldblum, man, The Fly was before my time, though. The Fly is a horrifying
I
movie.
watched that fairly recently.
Like, it's such a good movie, but like, I could only ever watch it once in a great while. Like, that's
so good.
I have trouble with body horror, and I'm the horror lady, and I have trouble with body horror.
Gina Davis is great too. Always like her.
She is very sweet. Jeff Goldblum is so casual. You're just like, stop! It's like nightmare fuel this whole time. Why are you so okay with this?
Yeah, like his casual demeanor is part of the horror of it.
It does, yeah. It's like where you have a dream where something awful is happening and everyone around you just
Like no
handling
one's
it
going to
like
acknowledge it.
yeah, or that's just totally normal.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. Oh God, GW ruined their website. Is that bad? I don't know. I went there. I'm like, okay, here we are. I guess I didn't really go to the GW website all that much to begin with, but I'm sure it'll get tweaked. The good news is we all have an opportunity to get Christmas scents since nobody's able to easily find them. Diddy
There you
Kong
go.
Racing is my jam. Heck yeah, Kellis.
I haven't played it in forever, but yeah, man, that was a fun game. Used to play that against my mom.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my mom played with me.
That's pretty fun. Mario Party causes way too much trauma and hatred towards your friends. I would say GoldenEye did plenty of that.
I remember I used to play Tekken 2 with a friend of mine, like way back in the day, and it would get to a point in the night where he's just like, "All right, get out," like almost reliably.
Nice. Split screen Halo. First time I played, I got motion sick. We used digital projector on the screen. It was the whole wall. A bit overwhelming.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot to keep track
First time I
of.
played Halo, I broke the game.
Really? I never played
I
Halo.
fell off the copter, and so like, my friend jumped off the copter, and the copter took off, and I was like, we were supposed to be on that, weren't we? Like, well, what do we do now? It's gone. What do we do?
Like, oops. I remember Aaron telling me he used to play. Oh, now I'm blanking on the MMO with the spaceships. Why am I blanking on it? The one where they had the expensive battles, like a 200,000.
Oh.
Eve Online. He used to play Eve Online projected on the wall in his
Oh, wow.
apartment in college. And so, like, because so much of the game is kind of AFK, like your ship is harvesting resources, doing whatever, so you'd always just have it projected so you could keep an eye on it wherever he was and didn't have to be sitting at the computer.
Donald and DJ both played Eve.
Oh, yeah? I
Yeah.
can see
Makes
that.
sense. I'm sorry, I'm going to skip down the chat here a little bit because we are over time. Mandragora, speaking of board games, I showed my neighbor my Big Four Journey. Wrath of Demons, Zombicide, Black Plague, Village Attacks, and Orc Quest. He's down for the Journey to the West Chinese theme. How interesting.
Orc Quest, that sounds fun.
It does, it does. Melinda Beaver's in the house. Hello.
Hey.
That's sad.
Hello.
Thank you for coming by. JB Got Rock, it's a dream where something awful is happening all around you, so pretty much every day of my life. Aww.
Kind of, yes.
Oh. Just tune out to the news a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Kelly, speaking of board games, I really want to get Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone, but my FLGS is making it difficult for me not to just order it online instead. Yeah, they're going to make it hard, then you always have the online option. I'm really good at Tekken. Mandragora sucks.
I'm trying to remember, I played what, Nina? Is that one?
I didn't
like
play Tekken.
I'm trying to remember if that was one in Tekken. It's
I
been
played-
a while for me, but
I
I
played
was
Dead or
really good with
Alive
her.
and Soul
Yes.
Calibur.
Played
Well, you
Dead
played
or Alive.
Sophia? Sophita? whatever her name-
Sophitia.
Sophia, yeah. I always liked her little Greek outfit. Like, that was super cool.
No,
I
Yeah,
never
she's
had Soul Calibur.
Soul
Played
Calibur's
it,
fun as hell.
played it once against one of my friends and totally kicked his butt. So that was the only time I ever got to play it. But I have Dead or Alive. I still have Dead or Alive.
It sucks that all 4 of those are Kickstarter and only Zombicide is alive and well with a potential bright future ahead of it. But aren't board games supposed to be all self-encompassed? Like, you can just still play them. You don't need them to be alive.
You can, but it's just like, where do you go buy it?
Oh,
As I
see.
think, like, what he's asking or mentioning.
One of the board games, but actual war game I wish I had is Street Fighter Battle Game. I'm not a big Street Fighter fan, but that game has 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 combat perfect.
Oh, wow.
Jerry DeBaca, best racing game, Micro Machines for the NES. So much fun. What? I never played that one. Micro Machines. I remember Micro Machines, but
I don't remember that one. That's interesting.
Paul confirmed that Nina was a Tekken character, and he was always Brian Fury.
Ah, okay. Then yes. It's like Nina Winian or something. She had a weird name because it's like Nina Winian wins. It's like this weird sound clip in the back of my head I barely remember from the 90s.
I played a lot of games on the Sega Saturn.
We didn't have the Sega Saturn.
I still have the Sega Saturn with all my games.
Let's see. Street Fighter Minis game is at Miniature Market. Sometimes
Oh,
at half
nice.
price, but still bonkers expensive.
Oh, not
Mark
nice.
Anton, Jerry DeBaca, was there something about collecting letters in it? In Micro Machines? Andrew, Soul Calibur 2 was not a good game for me as a shy 15-year-old. Dude, the minis are really well painted. Nice. I think I'm going to just have to stop us here because we're like half an hour over. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out in the chat.
For being so participatory.
Yes, I loved it. I loved all the discussion. We kind of talked about paywalls and subscriptions, but it seems like for the most part we talked about video games.
Well, we talked about the
games
apps
board
a lot.
Board games.
I think we talked about the apps.
We did.
Like
We
the
talked
apps
about apps.
themselves, I think, was probably the center of discussion on this.
Yeah, that's fair. So, yes, thank you so much again. I'm going to sign out, but I'm going to be playing the outro, so I'll still reply to your comments here in the chat for the next couple of minutes. And then our next live stream is going to be in 2 weeks, which should be November 15th. So
And everybody, like the video.
the video.
Like it a whole bunch.
Supposed to remember to tell you that more often. Like it, please. Like me.
Tell us you like us.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Happy hobbying.
Barry, cover me. All right, guys, this is it. Copy that. No more sandwiches, Barry.
What's wrong with this place? the west corridor. I'm right outside the generator room. I'm out of bullets.